hello to all my Dysautonomia friends and people with POTS, people with MCAS and all that stuff. How are you guys doing with the virus going around? I see a lot of people with really heightened anxieties during this time. Even people that don't usually have anxiety are having crazy amounts of anxiety. And yeah, so I'm just going to tell you all where I am at. Today is, what is today? It's March 27th. And I was doing good until last night. I had a little bit of an attack, but it wasn't horrible, and now I'm better. Anxiety attack, I mean. And this is what I'm feeling, okay? I think I've heard this from other people too, but like, for once, I'm not having as much anxiety about this virus thing. And obviously I'm having enough anxiety to severely clean my house and everything everybody touches, and even shoes and stuff like that, but someone, a friend of mine who was sick like me with dysautonomia, and she has gastroparesis and some other stuff, she mentioned to me, well, the rest of the world now knows how we feel around the clock. And that made me think about something. It made me think, well, maybe I'm not as freaked out by it because I'm just so used to being freaked out about the possibility of dying all the time in general because of the health issues I've had that have been really dangerous. And it is interesting that she said that because it kind of made me, I thought that I was going to have like such severe anxiety and like PTSD flare-ups and all kinds of stuff, but me personally, like, I know from personal experience, me and my mom were just talking about this, I do really well in crises, which is probably why I was good at nursing, but it doesn't hit me until after the crisis has ended, so that should be interesting. But during a crisis, I'm on top of things, and like, I'm dealing with it and doing what I need to do. It's like I shut off my emotional center to deal with the crisis. But then when I do that, when the crisis is over, it floods me, the emotional crap starts flooding my brain, and I don't know if that's going to happen this time because, I mean, this is a crisis that's lasting. It's not like a trauma patient coming in, you know, where I have to resuscitate them or something. You know what I mean? It's not like someone having a seizure on the floor, you know, and it's over with. It's long, spread out. Okay, so when the virus first started, my hair looks crazy. That's okay, I don't care. That's what quarantine's all about. But anyway, so when the virus first started, like, getting really bad here, my first instinct was, okay, what can I do to help? That was my first instinct. Which is interesting. I guess I've always been like that, kind of. But I was immediately, like, online and stuff, trying to figure out how I can get medical gear to these hospitals and stuff. And I couldn't figure it out. And because I couldn't figure out how to help them, I got really upset. Because it's, you know what? It's not like I feel like I have to contribute. because I'm sick and I'm at risk myself. But for me, I've been like this since I was a little girl. For me, it's just, I don't like knowing that other people are suffering. It bothers me so bad. Like, I know that I'm suffering, and I know what suffering is, so I don't like to see anybody go through suffering. Like, but I've been that way since I was a child, so it just probably got a little more so as I got older and started going through my own sufferings. So like, my biggest anxiety that I've been having right now is because of my brother. My brother is starting to have... Well, okay, so you know how doctors don't diagnose POTS or dysautonomia in general for like years and years down the road? Well, I kind of like self-diagnosed him about 4 years ago. I gave him a poor man's tilt table test. And lo and behold, I can put a pulse ox on him and he stands up and his pulse rate is almost 200. Or not 200, it's usually around 140, 145-ish. But he doesn't have as many symptoms from it. He's just tired all the time. So he's thought that he's had narcolepsy this whole time. But I told him that I think it's probably chronic fatigue syndrome. And that was like 4 years ago. And he's had a really hard time holding down a job because of it. And so lately, anyway, he has started getting some of the symptoms that I already went through, and it's scaring him. And it's weird because when I actually first moved from Florida to Michigan because of my symptoms being so bad, and like I was basically dying. My lips were blue. I mean, I was gone. And he actually made fun of me for it. He actually laughed at me and told me that I was crazy and all this stuff. And now that he's going through it, the other day, was it yesterday? 2 days ago, he had an adrenal dump after eating something, which went into an SVT. Now, he wasn't properly diagnosed with that, but since I've been through it enough, I kind of told him that that's what it was, because same things used to happen to me when I ate food, which is why I needed ablations on my heart. So, but he said to me, he said, I don't know how you can go through that and be sane. I said, Tom, it's okay. Like, it only happened to you like once so far. So let's find a cardiologist for you. Maybe they'll treat him better because, for one, he's a guy. They're always treated better by medical people. And two, his sister is diagnosed with all this crap. So he's already got his foot in the door, hopefully. So, I mean, he was so freaked out. He was so, he said it's the scariest feeling he's ever had in his entire life. Ever. He thought he was dying. He didn't know if he was having a heart attack. He didn't know if he was stroking out. He didn't know what was going on. He said it was the scariest thing he's ever been through. And then he said that he doesn't know how I got through that because I was having those episodes 5 times a day. And my heart almost exploded, which is why I had to be admitted to the hospital with high troponin levels. And I said, well, you know, I was trying to explain to him that that's part of the reason why I have PTSD. That's, you know, and he's really spooked now. So, and I, being as empathetic as I've always been, but just, I don't want to see my brother go through that. I wouldn't want my worst enemy to go through any of that. Like, it bothers me more watching other people go through what I went through than it bothers me going through it. I've been like that since I was little, but it just, I think, got worse as I got older. So, yeah, I know that this is kind of a boring video to put on YouTube, but we're all quarantined, and then I don't really have anyone to talk to, so I'm just talking. But, oh man. So I've actually been more worried about that. I'm almost equally as worried about the virus, but because my mom does healthcare and she works a lot, and I don't want her bringing it here and infecting me because of my issue actually with being allergic to myself. So, there is one person I know that does have the virus that also has MCAS and POTS, and I'm keeping track of what she's going through. I mean, all of us kind of experience our illnesses in different ways to some extent, so I can't really go based off of that, but yeah. So, for those of you out there that actually watch this video for some weird reason, like, what have you been doing with, like, coping mechanisms and stuff? Like, how are you coping with anxiety right now during this COVID-19 crap? Like, let me know in the comments if you actually watch this video, which probably nobody will, which is fine too. I don't care. But, and if you do have COVID-19, and you have POTS or some form of dysautonomia, also maybe let me know in the comments what that's been like for you. And everybody just hang in there, and yeah, continue to spread the love. Bye.